Hello, folks. Welcome to today's football predictions and on Betkraft. All right, today is another beautiful Saturday morning, and as usual, we'll come up with our games for you today. And today, a lot of games are going on across the globe, so we were able to select this few and have our in-depth look on these games before bringing it forward for you. All right. And we'll be looking at these matches one after the other, quite exciting matches in the top leagues in Europe, and in a short while we'll be taking a look at them. But I want to urge those of us who are coming across our video for the first time that are yet to subscribe. If you're seeing our video for the first time, please kindly take out time to hit the subscription button down there so that you won't be missing out on our subsequent games that will be coming up on this channel on a daily basis. Okay, and all right. Without further ado, let's head to the business of today. And today we'll be starting with the La Liga game. We'll have Osasuna who will be facing FC Barcelona. All right, in today's La Liga game, and Osasuna, as usual, what we do look at how these two teams have fared in recent games, and as well as how they have performed from home and away perspective before making our verdict from these very games. And then we look at Osasuna, the home side. They have won 3 games in the last 6 matches, and they've also had 2 losses as well as 1 draw. And when you look at FC Barcelona, their away side, they've won 5 games out of 6 matches, and they've had 1 loss. That loss was in the Champions League game against Monaco, and we saw them getting an early red card on that very match and losing that very one. But aside that, FC Barcelona is a team that has been in top form at the moment. And when you look at how these two teams have performed from home and away perspective, you could see that looking at Osasuna, the last 10 home games that they had have produced 3 wins and 2 losses as well as 5 draws in the last 10 home games that they had so far. As a matter of fact, the last 3 home games that they played out so far saw them winning all 3 home games. All right, that tells you that this team is actually picking up form at the moment. And when you look at the away side, FC Barcelona playing from away in the past 10 away games, they've won 7 times out of those 10 away games that they had, and they've had 3 losses in the past 10 away games for FC Barcelona, their away side. All right. We all know that Barcelona is doing very well. 70% of their away matches have actually resulted to win for them. So that tells you a lot about this very side. And currently, Barcelona is topping the La Liga table. And when you look at performances, how these two teams have fared from head-to-head perspective, you can see that the last time both teams met saw Barcelona winning this side by 1-0. Prior to that, we also saw Barcelona defeating this side by 2-0. All those 2 were in January of this year, and in last year, that was September last year, we saw Barcelona defeating this side from away by 2-1. All right, out of the 10 head-to-head meetings of this side, I've actually seen Barcelona win on 7 occasions. 2 have been the other 2 being a draw, and 1 being a draw, and also Osasuna winning Barcelona on 1 occasion on that in this out of the past 10 meetings for both sides. So it has been Barcelona who has been quite dominant of this very tie, and we will still expect Barcelona, who is in fine form, to achieve a result against this Osasuna side. So it is a away side to win our throughout. That's our value for that very game. Okay, that takes us to the next, and it is in English Premier League. We will have Wolverhampton Wanderers coming up against Liverpool FC. Okay, Wolverhampton have won just once in the last 6 games that they had, and they've also been able to manage 1 draw as well, but have lost 4 games out of the past 6 matches that they had so far. So when you look at that way side, on the other hand, Liverpool, they've won 5 games out of the past 6, losing 1. That tells you that Liverpool is a team that is actually in very good form, very good run of form at the moment. And when you look at how these two teams have fared, playing from home and away, respectively, when you look at Wolverhampton Wanderers, the home side, they've won 4 games out of the past 10 home games, but they've lost 6 out of those past 10 home games that they have so far. As a matter of fact, the last home game they played saw them losing out to Newcastle by 2-1 on that occasion. And then when you look at the away side, Liverpool FC, the past 10 away games have resulted to 6 wins for Liverpool, and they've also had 3 draws, but they've lost 1. That was in the match against Everton in April of this year, where they lost that by 2-0 on that occasion. So when you look at that closely, you see that Liverpool have been doing very well playing from away, and the last 4 away games that they had have actually produced a win for Liverpool, their away side. And when you look at how these two teams fared from head-to-head perspective, you can also see that the last time they met, it was Liverpool who had the upper hand on that occasion, and Liverpool have been winning this side. And out of 10 meetings, Liverpool have won on 9 occasions, and the other one being a draw. That tells you that Liverpool have been comprehensively beating Wolves. All right, and in this very one, we'll still expect a very similar result, expecting their way side Liverpool to achieve a result and win outrightly in this one. It is a away win for that very game. That's our verdict. All right, that takes us to the next, and it is in German Bundesliga where we'll have Wolfsburg coming up against Stuttgart. All right, and Wolfsburg in the last 6 games that they had have been able to achieve 3 victories out of those 6 recent matches that they had. They've also lost 3 out of those 6. And then we look at Stuttgart, the way side, they've been able to manage 4 victories in the past 6 recent games. They've also had 1 draw as well as 1 loss also in the last 6 games that they had so far. We all know that Stuttgart is a very fine side, seeing their recent results. All right, when you look at how these 2 teams fared from home and away perspective, you could see that for Wolfsburg, they've been able to achieve 4 victories in the last 6 games that they had, in the last 10 games actually, but they've also lost 6 out of those last 10 games that they had. And the away side, on the other hand, Stuttgart have been able to manage 6 victories from away. They've also had 2 draws as well as 2 losses in the last 10 away games that they have so far. Okay, and when you look closely, you can see that these 2 teams produced lots of goals in the last 10 home and away matches. When you look at Wolfsburg, the home side, have actually been able to achieve over 2.5 on 8 occasions out of the past 10 games that they had from home. And away side also, Stuttgart have seen lots of goals and have produced over 2.5 8 times as well out of the past 10 away games that they had so far. And in this very encounter, when you look at how they fared from the last time they met, you could see that the last time they met, it was Stuttgart who won on that occasion, but the scoreline was actually 3-2. And prior to that, we saw Stuttgart also beating this side by 3-1. That tells you that the last 2 meetings have actually produced lots of goals, and putting all that together, we'll still expect lots of goals in this one. And our verdict for this very game is a minimum of 3 goals and over 2.5 appearing in this very encounter. That's our verdict for this very game. All right, that takes us to the next. And the next game that we have for you also is in German Bundesliga, where we have the Giants, Bayern Munich, coming up against the league champions, Bayern Leverkusen. All right, Bayern Munich have actually won the entire 6 games that they played so far. We know that they are in fine form and they are winning convincingly with lots of goals. And when you look at Bayern Leverkusen, on the other hand, their way side have won 5 games out of the last 6. They've lost 1 out of those 6 games that they played so far. So that tells you they also are in very good form. Remember, they are the league champions. They won. They had lots of matches, unbeaten record last year. So when you look at how these 2 teams fared from home and away perspective, you can see that for Bayern Munich, the home side, they've been able to win 9 games out of the past 10 recent home games that they had, and the other one being a draw. And away side, on the other hand, Bayern Leverkusen have been able to manage 7 victories from away. They've also lost 2 games, including the loss against Atlanta in the finals of the Europa League, and they had 1 draw as well. So it is 7 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw in the last 10 away games that they have so far. All right, that tells you that these 2 teams are quite big. In terms of win and also in terms of goals scored. They've been scoring a lot of goals. Looking at Bayern Munich, we saw them defeating Dinamo Zagreb by 9-2. That's lots of goals last 2 weeks actually. Lots of goals. And Bayern Leverkusen, on the other hand, was able to defeat Feyenoord by 4-0. That tells you a lot about this team. And the last time they met, which was in February this year, we saw Leverkusen achieving a victory against Bayern Leverkusen. Bayern Munich on that occasion, and they were able to win that match by 3-0. And prior to that, we also saw them playing a 2-2 draw. And the last 4 meetings for both sides have actually produced over 2.5 scoreline. And in this very one, it won't be any different. We expect to see a minimum of 3 goals appearing in this very encounter. It is an over 2.5. That's our verdict for this very encounter. All right, that takes us to the next, and it is in Netherlands. The Dutch League, first division, where we have NEC Nijmegen, all right, pardon me about the name, and NEC, that's what it is, coming up against Feyenoord. And NEC, the home side, have won 2 games out of the past 6. They've also lost 4 games out of those. And when you look at the Feyenoord, they've won 2 games, they've had 3 draws and also 1 loss. in the last six recent encounters. Okay, but looking at how these two teams have performed from home and away perspective, you can also see that NEC, the home side, have won just a single match in the last 10 home games that they have so far. They've also had one draw, but they've lost whooping 8 games out of the past 10 home games that they have so far. That tells you that not the very best side, even when playing from home. They've lost lots of matches, and they've only been able to manage one victory in the past 10 home games that they have so far. That tells you a lot about the side. And looking at Feyenoord, their away side, Feyenoord have won 5 games from away. They've also had 4 draws as well as 1 loss in the past 10 away games that they have so far. We saw Feyenoord doing very well in the last home game that they had, which was against the NAC Breda. They were able to defeat NAC Breda by 2-0. And we'll be looking. They'll be looking to bounce back after losing out to Bayern Leverkusen in the Champions League by 4-0. So in this very encounter, we expect their away side to achieve a result in this. But looking also at the head-to-head perspective, you could see that the last time they met was in May this year. We saw them losing out to Feyenoord on that occasion by 2-3. And Feyenoord won. The match before that one also by 1-0. And in this very encounter, we definitely expect Feyenoord, their away side, to bounce back with this very tie. It is their away side to win out for the thousands of this very game. All right, and that takes us to the next, and which happened to be the last for the day. It is in Turkish League, where we have Turkish giants Galatasaray coming up against Kasimpasa. All right, Galatasaray in the last 6 games that they have so far, I've seen them winning all 6 games. And Kasimpasa, on the other hand, have won 1 game. They've also had 3 draws, but they've lost 2 games in the last 6 recent encounters for the away side, Kasimpasa. All right, looking at how these two teams have performed from home and away perspective, you can also see that playing from home, Galatasaray have actually won 7 games in the last 10 home games that they have so far, and they've lost 3. And those 3 were actually some of them were in friendlies. They lost 3 games in the past 10 home games that they had. They've been able to win 70% of it, and as a matter of fact, the last 4 home games have resulted to a win for Galatasaray in a very stylish manner. We saw them winning against the Erosspor by 8-3, and they won Rizespor by 5-0, and Gaziantep and also Barcelona all were defeated by a huge number of goals from Galatasaray. And when you look at Kasimpasa, on the other hand, they've actually been able to manage to achieve 5 victories from away. They've had 2 draws as well as 3 losses in the last 10 away games that they have so far. Not a bad side, if you ask me. And when you look at how they fared from the last meetings for both sides, you could see that March this year, it was Galatasaray who won on that occasion from away by 4-3 against Kasimpasa. And prior to that, we also saw Galatasaray defeated this side by 2-1. That was in November last year. Galatasaray have actually been quite dominant of this very time, winning on 8 occasions out of the past 10 meetings with this side. The other one being a draw, and Kasimpasa have only managed to win once from home on that occasion. So in this very encounter, we will definitely expect a win for the Galatasaray side, who's parading lots of wonderful players in their squad. So it is a home win. That's our value for that very game, and that brings our predictions for you today on Betkraft to a conclusion. I wish you the very best of luck, and I hope your ticket goes green. Also remember to play responsibly. It's only a football game. Sometimes things happen, and the expected outcome may not be the outcome. But we pray for success in this very one, and I hope that every one of us win it today. And remember, tomorrow is also another day, and we'll be coming up with our Sunday Millionaires games tomorrow. I wouldn't want you to miss out. All right, but until then, keep winning.